I'm really happy you stopped into my kitchen for another easy peasy minute with Mimi. I'm getting ready to make focaccia bread. Focaccia bread is from Italy and it's a flat yeast bread. So you make it a little bit different than you would your typical loaf of bread. What we're going to do is to make it easy peasy is to make it with a Mimi's Mountain Mix's Beer Soft Pretzel mix. Crazy good and lots of uses for it. So anyway, you're going to take your mix, and what I like to do is add my half a can of beer, which is 3/4 of a cup, to my bowl first. Now I dump my mix in. Actually, I do just about all of my baking mixes this way. It's just easier. You don't have that dry, floury stuff in the bottom of your bowl. Now, you're just going to stir it up. Get all of the dry ingredients incorporated into the beer. If you follow my directions, and you should follow my directions, you should have just enough flour in there and not have to add much of any extra. Now, having said that, FYI, the weather when you're baking can once in a while have a little bit of an effect on your baking. So think about it. If it's really, really humid out, it means there's a lot of moisture in the air. You might need to add a tiny bit more flour to whatever you're making. Again, if it's extremely dry out, or if you're in a high altitude, most mixes, including Mimi's, will have high altitude directions and what you're supposed to do for that. So FYI, there we go. We've got everything mixed in there. You're going to dump it out. Now this is where the fun starts. And if you've got any kids around, please get them involved. It's a wonderful family activity. Let them play and play and play like Play-Doh. Squish the daylights out of it. Now some people will say, oh, you have to knead the bread. That's a fancy name for squishing the daylights out of your mix, okay? So, some people have certain ways. They'll turn it this way, they'll turn it this way, they'll turn it that way. All good. But again, if you got kids, just let them play with it. You're going to get the same effect. And they're going to be busy for a while. So FYI, if you've got some days off of school, please have a Mimi's Mountain Mix Beer Soft Pretzel or 2 or 3 handy. You are going to thank me. And please send me pictures. So here you go. We've got a nice soft dough now. Now you know how you go to the pizza places, the real pizza places where they make it, the mom and pop kind, and you see them tossing it up in the air. This is basically what they're starting with, okay? And what they do is they put their fists in there and they pull and pull and pull. Well, you don't do that with focaccia bread. At least you don't have to. All you're going to do is stretch it out and flatten it. Again, another great activity for the kids. Let them squish it. You don't necessarily even need to have a rolling pin. So just keep all that extra stuff in the cupboard. You don't need that extra to wash and do. So you're going to stretch, stretch, stretch. You're going to take your pan, and you're going to put some olive oil on the bottom. This one I went and did ahead of time. And you're going to flatten it. Now, what you're going to do for focaccia bread, because you don't want it to get raising up, take your fingers and put little fingerprints in. Again, can you just imagine how much your kids or grandkids would love doing this? I have a son who used to always come up when my yeast rolls were raising, and he'd love the dough and he'd pinch off a little side. Guess what happened? It was not nice and fluffy anymore. To this day, the guy's 41. I always remind him of that. Anyway, now what you're going to do is take your olive oil, put some olive oil over your focaccia crust, and I like to start loading it up. And I load it up with just about anything. I particularly like black olives, so we just throw those on there. Again, let kiddos do this. You don't have to do this. Let them make their own. You could have them each be responsible for a square of the focaccia bread. We put a little onions, we put a little mushrooms, spread those around. If you want to put red pepper on there, you want to get a little hot, put some crushed red pepper if you like that. It's really whatever you like. Now, I just chopped up some rosemary. I hope you go back and look at that little quick, easy peasy minute with Mimi on how to make fast, fresh crushed rosemary. And I also put a little oregano on. And then I like to load it up with cheese. There you go. And nothing is right, nothing is wrong. It's whatever you like. Think about it. You could even make this for a breakfast, for a brunch. Crazy easy. Make it maybe with some pineapple and some ham. If you like green pepper or onion, go for it. It's whatever you like. Bacon, OMG. Everything's better with bacon. All right, now you're going to pop it in the oven. 425 for about 15 minutes. Just kind of watch it. Make sure it's brown. Now, I just so happen to have one right here in the oven coming out. Oh, wow. Yes, oh yes, oh yes. Does that look yummy? Just have on the side maybe some sauce, your Italian sauce. You could even use the olive oil and herb for dipping it. It's just amazing. Have a couple things available for your company to use and enjoy. Hey guys, have a good one. You know Mimi loves you all. Send in those pictures, and thanks for stopping in.